let's go to Joe's topic here. What do you have for us, man?
Oh man, all right. So, childhood video games growing up. I want to know some of your favorite ones, and whether or not they stand the test of time. Do they age well? Do you start off with Patrick?
All right. So I am a giant Pokemon fan. Some of my first games were Red, Blue. My favorite's actually Crystal, which is kind of like the Gold and Silver like compilation, whatever. I can't play that game now. It's just so terrible, like graphical wise. Also, one of my favorite consoles is the N64, and there's just you play some of those games. I don't want to upset some people right now, but like there's some games in there that are hard to play, and it's not that they're bad games. It's just at the time the camera, the pixelated graphics, they're still fun, like Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, but they're a little they're a little painful to go back to.
I feel you on the N64 one.
I agree. You know what the problem is, and see, in my era, obviously the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, it's easy to go back to those because pixel art just gets better over time. Yeah. I feel like it just classically just gets so much better. The N64, although I loved it, like it's hard to look at, and that's what it boils down to. Like it just looks bad. Like I remember looking at Super Mario 64 when it launched and thinking, dude, it will never get better than this. And now I look at it and go, holy crap, dude. What happened to you, Mario? Like, you hit the wall, bro. Like, you're won. And not only that, like, I bought it on the Wii U when it came out. And I was like, I'm so excited to try this game again. The camera's horrible, man. The camera is so bad, you know? And maybe...
Black was not...
Yeah, and maybe that's because we weren't using a proper N64 controller where the yellow buttons are the camera. You know, it's the C buttons, and you can kind of... That might make it a little bit easier if I had that, but, like, man, it was tough to play. For me, like I said, I go back to, like, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Kid Icarus. Like, those are my favorite games, and I feel like Nintendo games in the 8-bit era, in the 16-bit era, absolutely hold up, you know, hands down, no problem. The 16-bit era, a lot of games just hold up over the time. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is. 8-bit, though, man, it's bad. Like, those black box Nintendo games, I'm sorry, man, but Ice Climbers is hot trash in the summer all day long. Man. Dude, you are on crack.
I was never a fan of Ice Climbers.
You're on crack if you think that's a good game. I'm sorry. I might upset you, but go to the doctor now and get your mind checked out because you are seriously mistaken. The jumping...
It's floaty. It
ain't even floaty. You guys can't even move. A little bit of
everything,
jump and you have to jump straight up and down. You can't jump and push left or right. It's like, come on, man. Like,
did you guys just pick up that new Mario game that came out on the Switch, or the retro?
Oh, the Mario Brothers. I did pick it up. I haven't had a chance to.
Oh, that came out today too.
No,
yesterday for some odd.
Bobby, don't buy it. This is
Mario Brothers is horrible. That's a bad game, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they went Super Mario because if they would have stayed with that, we wouldn't have the console we have today. Like, it's bad, man. It's horrible. It's more of a co-op. That's more of a co-op game where you're like you're trying to just accumulate points.
It's an arcade game.
Yeah, to play one player I don't feel it really holds up at all. But play two players, it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty horrible.
Yeah, it's a sentimental attachment thing for me. That's why I bought it. I was like, oh, I can eventually, when my brother visits from Wisconsin the next time, I could just bust it out and be like, oh, all right, I'm 4 years old again.
Yeah, so he could be like, why did you put this trash on this console? What
judge me?
Gosh. What about you, Joe? What's yours?
Oh, man. So, I mean, I guess I keep mentioning Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 2 specifically, that was my first one in the series. I still love this game. Love the game to this day. Even, you know, we've gone way past the tank controls. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's just something about it that still feels right. And I've found communities of speedrunners that speedrun solely Resident Evil games on Twitch. And it's crazy that there's that game and some of the other classics people watch them. It's insane. I'm like, wow, you've got like hundreds of people watching these streamers still play these games and remake as well.
Mhm.
That GameCube controller was just like perfect. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite controllers. Just the way you can just claw it pretty easy with the LR, the Z buttons, the C stick instead of the C buttons was great.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 3 Super Nintendo, I feel like still stands. Like, you bring that game over. I mean, Square Enix already did. They dropped it on Steam. I hope one day they drop it on PS4 or something. I'll pick that back right up and play it again. It just goes back to the pixel art and the soundtrack. Like, I feel like most 16-bit, 8-bit games, the soundtracks still hold up for the most part, depending on what game you're playing.
Absolutely.
And then, if you look at the new SNES Classic coming out, really the only game that looks terrible is like Star Fox. But besides that, they all look fantastic. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
A dreaded Super Effects chip.
Yeah, that's that garbage because they try to go Virtual Fighter route, and I felt that's why I did not buy that game, because I was not a fan of Virtual Fighter. I thought, this is not the way I want to go. This is ugly. Like, I don't want anything to do with this. So when they put that out, I was like, I'm not buying it. So when N64 hit, I got excited because I was like, oh, this looks like this like Star Wars kind of. Like, I can get down with this. That other thing, I was like, that is horrible. Like, please, God, take it away. And they used to rave like it's the greatest thing ever, and I was like, this is trash, man. Even at 15 years old, I was like, I knew this is bad, man. I don't want nothing to do with this. So, no, I when I look at that, that's the main thing that gets me excited. Like, I look at Zelda, I look at Super Mario World, even Donkey Kong Country. Like, that, dude, that's the pinnacle, man. To me, that's the era, man. That's got me excited. That's why, like, a Nintendo 64 Classic, like, I would want it just for collector's sake. But I don't want it for the games, honestly. I don't feel like that era, there's only one game they could put on there that would make me play it, and that's it. And that's No Mercy. Other than that, I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
I still have that cart.
Oh, that game is the best wrestling game
No
ever.
Mercy.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it, man. It's awesome.
I feel like, as Nintendo fans, like, a lot of our older games hold up definitely a lot better,
Oh, absolutely.
I could say, than Microsoft or Sony or whatever.
Because, and that's where we go back to, where we talk. They weren't in the 8-bit era. They weren't in the 16-bit era. They have 0 pixel art games. So polygons and textures and all that. It's very difficult to just make them look. I mean, look at Banjo-Kazooie. They had to remaster the entire game. Not Banjo-Kazooie, Crash. They had to remaster the entire game, but even Banjo-Kazooie, Microsoft remastered it because you can't just grab that and slap it down and go, here you go. People don't really want it. It doesn't look that good. That's where Nintendo, I feel, is able to pull off the Virtual Console with ease. And, like, dude, Sony put out, Rockstar did it. They put out, like, the GTA, like, 3 and 4 and, like, Vice City and all that stuff. And it was not 4. They put out Vice City. They put out 3 and Vice City and San Andreas. And I bought Vice City because I loved Vice City on the PS2.
I love Vice City.
And I was like, this is amazing. So dude, it's trash. It is so horrible, man. Like, in my mind, it looks like Grand Theft Auto 5.
You remember it so differently.
Yeah, in reality, it looks like this cap if I chewed it for an hour and spit it out, man. It was so bad, man. But, like, it's just the era. The polygons just, like, you look at Metal Gear Solid, like, that original Metal Gear is one of the classics that just changed and revolutionized the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Konami slapped that down and people were just like, yes, sign me up for more. Now you look at it and it's like, oh, this is bad. Like, Snake's face is barely there. Like, you can hardly recognize him.
Yeah.
And it's like, not the Snake that I know. Like, he ain't the he ain't the Snake from 5. You know what I mean? He definitely not the Snake from Brawl. You know what I mean? Like, it's just bad. So I just think that's the problem. It's the polygons versus the pixel art, and that's the main thing.
You guys think that they'll ever do a proper remaster of Mario 64?
I really want to. I've said this numerous times, and I know it started. Someone created it and put it out there, but I've been on record as saying this numerous times that I wanted. You can go back to if we were at Nintendo, like in the early days, the first couple of episodes I came out with this, and Sean nearly lost his mind. But I wanted Super Mario All-Stars 2, and I wanted Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, one disc, put it out, boom.
Wow.
And I felt like that would have been like the amazing thing to do, and remaster them all. You didn't really have, because you really wouldn't have to put much into Galaxy 1 and 2. They're beautiful as they were. You would just have to put a little sheen on it to make it HD, and that would be it. But I called for that for so long, and then so I would love to see them remaster. What blows me away too is they've done Zelda. They did Ocarina of Time. They did Majora's Mask. Why would you not do 64? Like that makes no sense. But
yeah, that DS port. I would have thought fixed some of those problems with the camera, but that was like the big thing was like that camera still gets in the way for me to this day, so I don't go back to Mario 64, and I like that game too.
Yeah. The crazy thing is over the time of Nintendo consoles, Mario is always the leader to the party.
Yeah,
I mean, like Mario comes first, then Zelda comes in, and typically whatever they learn from Mario gets put into Zelda. That's the way it always was. Like, the N64, that not the Pro Controller, but that claw controller was made for Mario. Like, Miyamoto, he was the one that designed that controller because what he needed to do for Mario 64. That's why it wasn't like a great controller across the board for other games. Some games, like GoldenEye, because it was kind of like a trigger, and that worked perfectly, but like, it worked for Zelda because Miyamoto, and at the time Miyamoto worked more closely with the Zelda teams, but he went in and was like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we did with Mario, now this is what we're doing with this. And it translated better. Now, we look at now, and people can't, like, you can't look at this Zelda as, well, what did they learn from... Because I feel like they've kind of gone away from that, too. That was the early years. Now they've gone away, where, like, the two games are two different entities altogether. Like, although I don't know what came first, Odyssey or Breath of the Wild, but I felt like they kind of worked together and got ideas together on that one because they're both kind of different. They changed. They just flipped the table over and was like, let's go. Let's see what we can do here. So
yeah, Nintendo's definitely took their entire company, I feel like, even their games, their marketing, and just said, guys, we need to fix this because we're not going to be around if we don't fix it. So they're doing some crazy stuff.
The marketing, I got to tip my cap to the marketing because when you think about how bad it was with the Wii U,
terrible.
And now it's like, dude, this makes no sense how it's just selling. Like, let's be honest. Like, when it sold out the gates, there wasn't anything with it. There was nothing but the marketing. That first commercial either sold you or it didn't. You know what I mean? But when you watch that first commercial and it was like, holy crap, he just picked it up and walked away. Like, where's he going?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's in the park. And I was just like, it just, boom, my mind blew up. And I was like, because we had heard the rumors all along, it's going to be a hybrid. So that stupid picture, like that everybody was like, this is it. And there was that stupid thing on the desk. And I was like, God, if that's it, I'm not buying it. Like, it'll be the first Nintendo console I just walk away from and be like, I don't want you. But like, the proof of concept, man, just got delivered on this one, man. So it was like everything we saw in that initial trailer just got laid out for us. It was like, okay, go. So I'm hyped. I love what the marketing team is doing. It feels like the marketing team of the Wii. That marketing, like that, when they marketed that, like that whole, we would like to play with the Japanese guys just showing up at people's doors. It worked.
That's right.
That was amazing, So I feel like this is where these guys got it right. You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you saw Nintendo on a Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah, that's true.
And like,